Hey friends, I'm Vanna from Moldova. Please like and subscribe. I was born in a small town to a single mom who really made it big when she moved to the city. She was an entrepreneur, and every business she started seemed to turn into a gold mine. And honestly, she spoiled me rotten. All I had to do was look at something and she'd get it for me. For my 8th birthday, I asked if I could have a bigger swimming pool. Instead of just upgrading the one we had, she went all out and had a full water park installed in our backyard. My friends and I completely lost it when we saw it. "Oh my God, Mom, you're the best!" I exclaimed. Her response was always sweet. "Anything for you, love." She'd also remind me, "And remember what the doctor said. Talk slowly and you won't stutter as much." Yeah, I used to stutter pretty badly when I was younger. I mostly had it under control, but sometimes it would flare up when I got nervous or excited. But other than that, life was perfect. Everyone wished they were me. That is, until 10th grade. That's when everything changed. One day my mom's company stock crashed and just like that she was left with nothing. We were going to lose our house. Desperate, I reached out to my friends for help, but that's when they all showed their true colors. "I'm so sorry, Vanna," one said. "But, we're facing financial problems too," another added. "I want to help, but my dad works really hard, and I don't think he'll give your mom money. He always says she got rich by pure luck." "Look, my mom works really hard," I shot back. "She doesn't," another snapped. "And my dad's right. Now go away. We don't have all day for you to finish your sentence." People can change so fast. In the end, we did lose the house, and my mom decided to send me to her hometown to live with a friend for a while. I hated the idea of being away from her, but I agreed, for her sake. When I landed at the airport, I was already homesick. But then I saw a boy my age holding a placard with my name on it. "Hey, you must be here for me. Wow, it's really hot here." I looked around. "Wait, aren't you going to pick up my bags?" He gave me a smirk. "Oh, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? I'm Dimitri. And guess what? I'm not your servant. So pick them up yourself." How rude. I carried my own bags and followed him outside, only to find a donkey cart. "Where's the car?" I asked. "You sound like a broken record," he said. "That's your ride, princess. So hop on." That was my first time ever on a donkey cart. I didn't mind it, but the whole ride I wanted to punch Dimitri for making fun of me. His mom, though, was lovely. She hugged me the moment she saw me and led me to a tiny room. "This is so cute. My cat has a room just like this." Dimitri rolled his eyes. "City brat. Look, if you don't like it, you can always sleep in the basement. It's got lots of space and pets too. A family of rats." What a jerk. I wouldn't have lasted a day there without his amazing mom. I tried to pretend Dimitri didn't exist. A week later I started school. Surprisingly, I made friends instantly. But soon I figured out why. All the girls wanted to know what it was like living under the same roof as Dimitri. "Well, he's kind of handsome," I admitted after a pause. A few days later our school had a football match, and I volunteered as the water girl. Dimitri was team captain, and all the girls were chanting his name. Geez, so lame, I thought. Sure, he was good looking, but just a little. I was so busy looking at him that I didn't notice a player trying to catch a ball, and he crashed straight into me. "Are you trying to kill me? Watch where you're going." "Great advice, I'll remember it next time," he said with a goofy smile. Then, before running off, he winked at me. The next day, I saw the same player outside my school, this time with a car full of roses. As soon as he spotted me, that silly grin came back. "Hey, beautiful. These are for you. By the way, I'm Nova." Wow, that was a lot of roses. "Thanks," I said. Turns out, Nova was on the football team from another school. But from that day on, he showed up outside my school every day asking me out. I kept saying no, but he wasn't taking no for an answer. Then one day at home I saw a car pull up with Nova in the back seat. He'd found out where I lived. But just then I saw Dimitri's mom walk up to the car. The driver handed her an envelope and left. What was that about? Later, I asked Dimitri's mom, and she told me that her husband used to work for Nova's dad. Even after he passed away, the family kept helping her financially, including paying for Dimitri's school. That changed how I saw Nova. So the next time he asked me out, I said yes. When Nova picked me up for our first date, he said, "I'm surprised this is where you live. How do you know these people?" I told him everything, about why I had moved there. "I'm sorry that sounds tough," he said. "But just be careful of Dimitri." "What do you mean?" "His dad worked for us, and we used to play together as kids. But I always felt like he resented us, especially me. Like he hates me because I was born rich and he wasn't. I'm sure he has nothing nice to say about me, even after everything my family does for him." I didn't have trouble believing that. Dimitri always mocked me for being a rich brat. My date with Nova was totally unexpected. Instead of taking me to some fancy restaurant, he took me to a soup kitchen for the homeless, and we signed up as volunteers. "I always come here when I want to do something special," he said. "Feels good, doesn't it?" This guy was so sweet. When he dropped me back home, I found Dimitri on the porch. "Seriously? You're dating Nova? Did the rest of the male population die? What's your problem?" "He's a nice guy, oh yeah. So where'd you go, an orphanage this time? Or maybe a pet shelter to see some poor puppies?" That's the kind of stuff he does on first dates to impress girls. "I don't expect you to understand what it means to be genuinely nice." "I didn't expect you to be this dumb," he shot back. "But hey, you surprised me. Actually, you guys deserve each other. Two spoiled brats." Nova was right. Dimitri sounded so judgmental and bitter. Still, I kept going out with Nova and having a good time. But he was always too generous. Fancy dinners, expensive gifts. It made me uncomfortable. "Nova, I wish you wouldn't," I said once. "I can't give you gifts like these," I added. "I'm not expecting anything," he replied. "But I can spoil my girlfriend, can't I?" He gently kissed me for the first time, and while it was sweet, I didn't exactly feel sparks. I felt like he was falling for me way too fast. The next morning, I couldn't find Dimitri or his mom anywhere. Then I found them both in her room. She was in bed with a high fever. When we called the doctor, he said she'd caught some virus and needed 2 weeks of rest at home. I really wanted to help, so I made her some soup. As I was carrying it upstairs, Dimitri stopped me. "What's that?" "It's soup. Your mom used to give it to you when you were sick, right?" "No thanks. You're not giving that to my mom. How would you even know how to cook anything when you've never had to lift a finger?" Snap. "Dimitri, can you just shut up for once? Yeah, I used to be rich, it's not a crime. And I'm not useless or spoiled." I pushed past him and went up with the tray. Gosh, I was so sick of him. Later that night there was a knock on my door. Dimitri peeked in. I'm sorry about earlier. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that." "Yeah, you shouldn't have," I said. "But it's okay. I get that you're worried about your mom." "Yeah. But I haven't been very nice to you. I'll try to be better." After that day, Dimitri and I kind of became friends. We took turns caring for his mom and doing chores around the house. At night, we'd sit outside and talk for hours. He was sweet, simple, and really starting to grow on me. 2 weeks flew by, and his mom recovered completely. One day, Dimitri was working in the garden while I was reading nearby, secretly admiring how good he looked without a shirt on. Suddenly, he called out, "Hey, Vanna, can you check if the water's coming from the hose? I don't know if it's broken or not." As I picked it up, water gushed straight into my face. Dimitri was laughing hysterically. "Gosh, you are so easy to trick." I grabbed a handful of mud and chased him across the yard, yelling, "You're gonna pay for that." He tripped and fell, and before he could get up, I rubbed the mud all over his face. Just then, Nova showed up and shouted, "What are you doing to her, jerk?" He looked like he was about to jump in and fight Dimitri when I stopped him. "Hey," I said, catching my breath. "We were just playing. I started it." Nova turned to me, confused. "Why were you doing that?" I laughed nervously. "Did you forget you were picking me up for dinner?" Dimitri rolled his eyes. You're going to tell her what she can and can't do now. The boys looked like they were about to tear each other apart. So I grabbed Nova's arm and pulled him aside. Just wait in the car while I clean up, okay? Truthfully, I had completely forgotten about dinner at his place. When we got there, I saw that Nova lived in a huge mansion with his dad, who greeted me warmly. So you're living with Dimitri and his mom right now? He asked. His father was a close friend of mine. Friend? Come on, Dad, Nova muttered. He was our servant. His dad gave him a serious look. Your dad's really soft-hearted and likes helping people. Dimitri wouldn't have gone to school if it weren't for him. And I'm glad I helped. That boy is hardworking and will make something of himself. Unlike some entitled rich kids I know. Before anyone could respond, his dad excused himself, and Nova suddenly flung his plate against the wall. This is what happens every time I bring that jerk up. Dad has always liked Dimitri more than me. I tried to calm him down. I'm sure that's not true. He didn't buy it. Don't think I'm blind or stupid. You like Dimitri more too, don't you? You've been avoiding me for 2 weeks just to spend more time with him. What? Are you crazy? Shot back. I told you his mom was unwell. He stared at me in disbelief, but then his anger faded as quickly as it came. Vanna. Sorry. I'd like to go home, please. The ride back was quiet. Felt shaken. Nova was turning out to be someone I barely recognized. When I got home, I found Dimitri sitting in the kitchen with a sour expression. You're back early, he said. Yeah, I replied. Were you waiting for me? I was waiting to tell you that you're an idiot for dating Nova. He's fake and horrible. Why can't you see that? Are you blinded by his expensive gifts? Or too impressed by his fancy cars and mansion? I was actually about to tell him I was breaking up with Nova, but his words made me furious. There you go again, back to being a jerk. Mind your own business, Dimitri. Don't talk to me. And just like that, we stopped talking after that day. A little later, I officially broke up with Nova. He kept begging me to forgive him, but I held my ground. He was just too much. A few days later, Mom called me with amazing news. Her company was back on track, and she wanted me to come home. I decided to leave right after my final exams. There was nothing keeping me here anymore anyway. After exam week, there was a big football match between our school and Nova's. I made sure to sit far behind on the bleachers so he wouldn't spot me. The game was intense. Dimitri and Nova kept bumping heads on the field, almost coming to blows, but our team won by a large margin. Nova stormed off the field, clearly furious. Dimitri looked so happy after the win, and I wanted to congratulate him. I waited outside the locker room, but when I walked inside, I caught 2 guys pinning him against the wall, and Nova punching him. Stop it, Nova. Don't hurt him, shouted. Nova turned to me, eyes wild. Oh, how worried you are now. But you didn't care when you hurt me. I know you broke up with me because you have feelings for this worm. He took a step closer. After all that money I spent on you, I thought since you were rich once, you'd have some class. But you're just cheap. You're a psycho, I snapped. And yeah, I like Dimitri a lot now. I finally understand why your dad likes him better. Nova's face twisted. You'll pay for saying that. I'll make sure Dad stops giving them any money. I'll convince him. But before he could say anything else, we heard a voice behind us. No, you won't. It was Nova's dad who had come to see the match. He looked furious. Without a word, he grabbed Nova's arm and led him away. I turned to Dimitri. Are you okay? Your face. I'm fine, Vanna, he said with a weak smile. But I should have listened to you about Nova. No, I admitted. I was unfair and mean to you too. I'm really sorry. There was a pause. Then I added quietly. About what I said back there, is it true? Which part? He asked. The part where I said I like you. A lot. He shrugged. Yeah, like you. Big deal. I raised an eyebrow. Like me. He grinned. Guess it's just you then. And before I could react, He pulled me in and kissed me. It was perfect. After that kiss, everything felt like it had shifted, like the world had quietly rearranged itself and finally made sense. Dimitri smiled in a way I'd never seen before, not cocky or sarcastic, just genuine. We stood there for a moment, surrounded by the echoes of the crowd leaving the stadium, the sky painted in soft oranges and pinks. The next few days flew by. With my finals done and my ticket home booked, I found myself spending every free moment with Dimitri. We didn't talk much about the future. We were both still figuring things out, but being together felt right, like a quiet promise that whatever came next, we'd face it without pretending to be someone we weren't. On my last night there, we sat outside under the same stars we'd shared so many conversations under. He looked at me and said, "You know, I used to hate you. Like really hate you." I laughed. "I kind of figured. But now," he continued, "I think I like you more because of where you came from. Not in spite of it. You didn't let any of it break you. That means more than money ever could." I leaned my head on his shoulder, and neither of us spoke for a while. Just the sound of the wind and our steady breathing. When I returned home, life slowly got back to normal, or what felt like a new kind of normal. Mom was rebuilding, stronger than ever, and seeing her fight for what she believed in inspired me more than ever. A few weeks later, I got a message from Dimitri. It was just a photo, a small handwritten sign taped to the donkey cart that first brought me here. It read, "Welcome home, princess." I couldn't help but smile. Maybe life isn't about where you start or where you end up. Maybe it's about who you become along the way. And who walks beside you when you do. And for me, that someone was Dimitri. The boy who once mocked me for being rich. The boy who taught me how to be real. The boy who turned out to be more than I ever expected. And somehow, the boy who became my favorite part of the story.